Shalom, family. All praise to the Most High Yah for His goodness, His mercy, His love, His kindness, His compassion that He's shown towards us. May His name be greatly esteemed. May His name be magnified in our lives. It's always a privilege to be able to share anything that Abba has placed on me to say. It's not to be taken lightly, especially having the fear of Yah. It's always something to be fearful of, to say when Yah has not said, and to not say when Yah has said. So it's a walk of obedience and great reverence for the Most High. Let us go into Palal and ask the Father to guide us and to present ourselves to Him as a living sacrifice, and to ensure that we are in the right position to hear, to listen, to apply, and to walk out this salvation with fear and trembling. Abba, we come before your presence and we give you thanks for everything that you have done. Thank you for the opportunity that you have given to us to be able to come together again this Yom, Abba. Thank you, Father, that you did not destroy us and that we still have breath in our lungs and life in our body. May your name be esteemed. May your name be lifted high. Who is likened unto you, Abba Yah, in all the earth? Your name is above every other name, and the fear of you is the beginning of Hakmah. So, Father, I ask that you will be with each and every single one of us, and that you will cause us to have understanding, that you will cause us to have comprehension, that if we are walking in a way that we ought not to, Father, that you will reveal it to us so that we may be saved. We thank you, Father, for your goodness. May your name be lifted high. May your name be greatly esteemed. And surely your goodness and your mercy shall follow us all the days of our lives, and we will dwell in the house of the Most High, Yah, always and forevermore. In the name and the authority of Yahushua HaMashiach, so be it and be it so. Today we will be talking about the great and terribleness of the Most High. The Most High Yah is great and terrible. And it's, when you first hear this, Yah is great and he is terrible. What does that mean? What does it mean for him to be so great and terrible? I remember when I was a little girl, one of the first verses that I learned was that the beginning of Yah was the fear, was fear. The fear of Yah was the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. When I was a little girl, I remember being around 7 or 8 years old, and I would say, what does this mean? Are we supposed to be afraid of Yah? And I remember I asked an adult this when I was a child, and he said to me that we're not supposed to be afraid of Yah like we would be afraid of the dark, or how we would be afraid of things that we do not know. But we're supposed to have a great respect for him. But I always had a problem because at that time, fear to me meant fear. It meant being afraid. So I had a struggle with this explanation that this adult had given to me, because I wanted to make sure that I could fully apply these words, because when I was a child, I said that if I'm going to serve the Father, I'm going to be a good daughter. I'm going to be an obedient daughter. I'm not going to be a bad child. So I reasoned in my mind that there was something that was not being clearly defined to me. And I spent my childhood and adulthood trying to make sure that I could fully apply this word to the best of my ability. In Proverbs, or Mishlei, chapter 9, verse 10, it says, the reverence of YAHUAH is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Kadosh One is understanding. What does that mean? These are verses that we're constantly repeating all the time. And I know that this topic might sound a little bit like kindergarten to you for some of us, because we're just like, girl, I've been in this faith for a long time. I've been a believer for this amount of time. I've been walking this walk from before you was born. But that doesn't really mean anything, because we are being untaught a lot of things, and we are being taught again in the way of the Most High. And there's a lot of teachings that we have been given that really are not part of Hebraic culture. So now we have to be taken aback, and we have to be willing to unlearn, to relearn, and to be in the position that the Father has ordained for us. The reverence or the fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Kadosh One is understanding. Reverence, fear. What does that mean? The reason why I am bringing this up is because the Most High Yah has been dealing with me in the sense of us being ready for Him. Us being ready for Him. There is a lack of true Hebraic, biblical, scriptural, founded reverence. And my job right now is to make sure that I serve it to you on a plain dish, and you can decide if it is something that you want to eat or something you desire to discard. But today I have to walk in obedience and make sure that I share this so that no blood is on my hand. Reverence, fear. What is that? And the Hebrew, it is yira or yaw. Yir'au. It is H3373, H3374. And it means fear, terror, fearing, awesome or terrifying thing, fear of the Most High, respect, piety, reverence. And as I said before, when I was a little girl, this was one of the first verses that I learned, and I asked myself, yeah, am I supposed to be scared of you? And I was always told, no, you're not supposed to be scared of Yah. But I had trouble because I would read in the scriptures so many times that it would say that Yah is great and terrible, and that He was to be feared, and that when the prophets would go before Yah or they would have an encounter with Yah, they literally had reactions of fear. And this was my understanding as a child. This was my comprehension, that they would bow down in fear. They literally would come to some kind of a great reverence or fear that it would cause them to be weak in the knees and fall on their faces. And then they would be touched by a malak of the Most High, and the malak says, do not be afraid. So I'm like, but this adult told me that we're not supposed to be afraid of Yah. And this is the problem, that there is a lack of fear of Yah in its truest form. I'm going somewhere with this because this will determine if we will be able to hold on to the blood and the testimony. This will determine if we will not love our lives until death. This will determine if we will be willing to compromise. This will determine if we will be willing to be slaughtered for the name of our Mashiach and His Yahuwah. The fear of the Most High Yah is a necessary thing, and the only way we will get to that point is if we truly can comprehend that Yahuwah is great and terrible. He is great, and he is terrible. And this is not an understatement. This is not a phrase. This is not just a verse. So before we get to the ending, I want to say that you should be very afraid of Yah. You should be very afraid of him. So let's go to Matthew chapter 10, verse 28. Matthew chapter 10, verse 28. And do not fear those who kill the body but are unable to kill the being, but rather fear him who is able to destroy both being and body in Gehenna. Do not fear those who kill the body and are unable to kill the being, but rather fear him who is able to destroy both being and body in Gehenna. You see, there is a kind of fear that we need to have of Yah. Our fear of him should be greater than the fear we have for anybody or anything at all. And once we can establish this kind of reverence, it will make sure that our walk with Yah is always straight. It will make sure that our walk with Yah never deviates to the left or to the right. Our obedience is always consistent. Our behaviors, our reactions, our thoughts, our emotions are always in alignment with the will of the Most High. This is what we need today. A reverence of him, a fear of him, an understanding of him, that he is able to destroy the flesh, he is able to destroy the body and the soul, and we are able to be completely annihilated, separated from him, if we do not have this kind of fear and reverence for him. The fear of the Most High Yah is necessary. Because why? Because it saves lives. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 14, verse 27. It says, the reverence of YAHUAH is a fountain of life, to turn away from the snares of death. What? You see, if you are fearful of Yah, then you will be so afraid to sin against him and to go against his will, thus sparing your own life, sparing your own being. You see, the past few weeks, Abba has been giving me these messages to share. And it is to prepare us for this very part. So then, when we're looking back on all of these things, controlling gossip, controlling emotions, controlling ourselves and the kinds of offerings that we bring to him, the way we treat one another, all of this will be possible when we have the fear of Yah, and we truly can understand that he is great and terrible. Mishlei, Proverbs chapter 8, verse 13. The reverence of YAHUAH is to hate evil. I have hated pride and arrogance and the evil way and the perverse mouth. This is what the fear of the Most High Yah does to you. It causes great fear. It causes great fear of sin. It causes you to be afraid. The fear of YAHUAH delivers you from the evil way, from the man who speaks perversities. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. The fear of the Most High saves lives. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13. Kehaleth 12, verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the entire matter. Revere YAHUAH, fear Allah, and guard his commands, for this is to all mankind. The fear of Yahuwah saves lives. It keeps us from death. It keeps us from destruction. It keeps us from murder and suicide. Let's go to Psalm chapter 111, verse 10. Tehillim 111, verse 10. The reverence of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom. All those doing them have a good understanding. His praise is standing forever. These are the precepts. These are our precepts. There are so much more. The fear of Yah is written over 47 times in the scriptures. But a lot of people still haven't attained the kind of reverence that the Most High requires of us. 1 John chapter 14, verse 18. 1 John chapter 4, verse 18. Sorry. And it says, there is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear, because fear holds punishment, and he who fears has not been made perfect in love. All right. We have our precepts. So let's talk about what Yah is not, so that we can understand who Yah is. One reason why a lot of us don't have the kind of reverence for Yah is because we're not relatable to him. We have not envisioned him in his esteem. We have not acknowledged him in his splendor completely. And this is part of the problem. I remember going to church, and all we've been taught, or all I ever was taught, was to love an invisible God who was righteous, who loved, and we were made in his image. And that was it. This was our foundation for most of us. But none of us really have ever been taught to sit down. I'm not talking about everybody, but I'm speaking about the majority. We haven't really been taught to sit down and to envision Yah in his splendor, to literally close our eyes and dwell in the presence of the Most High Yah. We haven't been really taught to fathom his greatness, his awesomeness. We haven't been taught to take time with nature and all of his creation to see the works of his hands, how he created the sun, the moon, the stars, the trees, the leaves, the worms in the soil. We haven't been taught to look at the sea and see how the ripples represent the patterns on our hands. We haven't been taught these things. So the reverence of Yah is diminished because we haven't been able to really see Yah in his splendor. Yah is not formless. Yah is not formless, Yasharal. He is not this blob of light, of gunk, of goo floating up in the atmosphere. He is not this untouchable, intangible thing. He is not a thing. He is not a dark matter. He is not a light matter. He is not gas. He is not air. He is not gas floating in the third heaven. He's not any of these things. He is not a big eyeball watching the earth, watching the actions and the reactions and the functions of mankind. Yah is not an eyeball. And he is not a ball of eyeballs. He does not hold a bolt of lightning in his hand, getting ready to strike at any time. He is not Zeus. He is not Hermes. He is not Hercules. He is not Poseidon. He is not any of these things. He is not a strong man sitting in a lazy chair watching all of creation. Yah is not a blob. He is not a cloud hovering over the atmosphere. And when you see a cloud that looks different from all the other clouds, You say, oh, I see Yahuwah. He is not any of these things. Yah is not any of these things. He is not gas. He is not the air that you breathe, that you feel in your hands. He is living. He is a being. He is self-existing. He is sovereign. He is mighty. He is awesome. He is to be feared. He is to be dreaded of. And he is to be honored. The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom. The reason why for some of us it's so easy to fall in the same kind of sins again and again and again. You're over here on your bed, touching yourself inappropriately, masturbating, is because you have not fully seen the esteem of the Most High. The reason why you can curse every other day is because you don't have the esteem of the Most High. You do not know that He is great and He is terrible. You think He's a blob. You think He's a ball of goo. You think He's just an eyeball. But you do not know that He can destroy you. And He can throw you into Gehenna. Yahuwah is not a weakling. He is not a weakling. He's not a punk that you see on the street, that you can write up on him. He's not a weakling when you do something wrong, when you do evil and you do wickedness. And you think after you deliberately sinned against him, you can come up to him and say, Yah, you know my heart. You know, Abba Yah, that I love you so much, Abba. And I'm just a man. I'm just a woman, Abba. He's not a punk. And if you ever thought he was, you best believe right now that you are playing with the wrong one. Because he will require everything of you. He is not a pushover. You think that his love suffering is pushover syndrome? You think that because the Most High has lingered with you for a time that he's a pushover? He just don't want to whoop you the way you don't discipline your own kids? You think that Yah is you? And you are Yah? You think that Yah is over here sitting on a chair saying to you, if you do this again, I'm going to give you a whooping, and he don't get up? You think because he is slow to rising, slow to getting up, that whooping is not coming and that he is a pushover? That he is a walking mat? That he is a carpet and a rug that you can walk all over and do what you want and do what thou wilt? He's not a punk. He's not a pushover. You thought that Yahuwah was a love sap? That he is overly sentimental about love and romance? You think Yah wants your love so bad that he is willing to tolerate every single thing you do? You think that he loves you so much that you will be spared from his wrath? Know this, that he is great and terrible. He is great and he is terrible. So why do you not take it seriously when the Most High Yah says, work out your salvation with fear and trembling? You thought this was a quote? You thought this was a quote? Because we're over here repeating scripture again and again and again because they sound good. We like how it sounds. We like to be able to walk up on people and be like, hey, I know all the verses of the Bible. I don't do them, but I know him. I'm a walking Bible. I can spit out verses like I can spit out rap bars. I can freestyle verses. I know them so well. I know where to find them. I know where to breathe them. I know where to apply them. But I'm rebellious and I'm stiff-necked because I just like quotes and I don't like to live them. The Most High is great and terrible. He is no joke. And he is not a force to be reckoned with. This is the thing that bothers me sometimes. That we have not fully, completely gone astray and walked away from this indoctrination, because this is the thing that is keeping Yasharal bound. Please understand what I'm saying. The Most High has awakened us. He is awakening his people. But the thing that we're not grasping onto, we're grasping onto who we are. We're grasping onto whose we are. We're grasping onto the laws and the commands and the feast days for identity. But what we are not grasping onto is who he is. That he is great and terrible, and that he has many things that he will require of us. We're supposed to walk in so much fear that it will demand and require holiness from us. That it will require righteousness from us. That it will require a set-apart nature from us. That our nature will be so different from that of the world. That we will be going from esteem to esteem to esteem, because we are walking in unity with the Most High Yah. There is a reason why some of us are not able to have dreams and visions and be taken up to the third heaven. There's a reason why we don't have revelation the way we ought to. There's a reason why we are not able to spend hours with Yah, because we have not learned and fully comprehended that he is great and terrible, and only the worthy will be able to stand before the great and terrible El, the great and terrible Yahuwah. And if you are not worthy, you will be destroyed by the great and terrible Yahuwah. And it does not matter if you are Yasharal or if you are heathen. Because even Yasharal can be heathen. Yah is not a crutch for no man's low self-esteem or inadequacy. Some of y'all need to stop using Yah because you got low self-esteem. What do I mean by this? There's a lot of churches everywhere. And the reason why they decide to go to churches, you know how they used to say, if you can't teach, then teach gym. So if you have low self-esteem, you don't have confidence in yourself, you couldn't be a doctor, you couldn't be a lawyer, you couldn't be nothing important, so you go to church and you use Yah as the crutch to be somebody. But it's all for selfish gain. And still, in Yasharal, there is this kind of inadequacy feeling that causes people to study the books, study the scriptures, know the word, but it's only for selfish gain, because they were not important when they were a nobody, so they became important, or they thought they were important when they became Yasharal who knew the Bible. But they don't know Yah. They don't know Yah, and there is no fear of him. There is no reverence of him. You speak and you do not question yourself about whether or not the Most High will require it of you. You say, thus saith Yah, and Yah saith not. You got eye boogies, nose boogies, even ear boogies. You crying so much, and Yah saith not. You speak with authority, but yet you lack reverence of the one who can throw you in the abyss. Yah is not a crutch for no man. Yah is not a crutch for no man. And he is no genie in a bottle. You are not Christina Aguilera. You cannot rub Yah the right way or the wrong way. You just need to obey. This life is not a VH1 music video. It is not MTV. It is not BET. This is your life that we are talking about and all of eternity that follows. Abba Yah. Stop rubbing on a bottle and thinking it's Yah. He is no genie. Yah does not serve you. Yah does not serve you. The only time some of us go and spend time with Yah is when we got some problems, we got some trials, we got some tribulation, and we're going to Yah. Yah, please do this for me. Yah, please do that for me. Yah, please fix my marriage. Please fix my home. Please give me a baby. Please give me a child. Please give me some money. Please give me some food. Please give me a car. Please give me a house. Please, Abba, Yah, take me off of welfare. But do you spend time with Yah to know His will? Do you spend time with Yah and say, Yah, bring me into the third Shamayam, that I may esteem your glory, that I may see your splendor, that I may know what your will is, so that I may be prepared in my latter end. Yah does not serve you. He does not serve you. But for some reason, we think He does. We don't lift up the adorations. Have any of you ever gone outside and just looked at a leaf? Have you ever gone outside and looked at the sand, or just gone outside and stared into the sky and you say, look at your creation, Abba Yah. Who could have done these things? When I was a little girl, I used to go home every day from school. Every single day. There was not a day I did not come home from school. I put my backpack on my bed and I went to my window and I would spend hours at the window talking with Yah. And I would talk to Him so much because I had a kind of a difficult childhood. It was hard for me. So I looked to Yah and I said, Yah, you are my father, you are my mother, you are my family. And I looked to Him and I abided in Him, and He was my everything, my best friend, everything to me. And I would go to that window every single day. And I would sit there and I would look at the sky and I would literally talk to Him. I didn't hear Him talk back to me, but I would talk and I would stop and see if He would talk back to me. I didn't hear anything, but I knew that He was listening to me. And I would go on walks and I would pick up leaves and I would look at a leaf and then I would take up my fingers and trace the pattern of the leaf. And then it dawned on me, I looked at the palm of my hand and I would say, Abba, look at these lines on the palm of my hands. These leaves have patterns just like the palm of my hand. I'm a human and this is a leaf. But your fingerprint is on everything. How is it possible that a leaf has lines just like the palm of my hand, and I look at another leaf and it does not look like the one I had on, and my one right hand does not look like the pattern that's on my left hand? Look at your creation. I love sitting outside at nighttime, and I still do it to this day. And I go outside and I look up in the sky and I try and count the stars. And I say, oh, but you've created so many stars. But not one star is the same to another. Not one grain of sand is similar to another. Look at the sea and how we're looking at the waters, but if you look closely at the waters, you see that there are patterns in the waves. Look at the patterns of the waves. Look at the fish. Look at the patterns on the fish. You look at his creation and you become in awe of him, and you know that he is great. You haven't figured that he is terrible yet, but you look at the things, the works of his hands, and you say, you are great, Abba. I'm constantly in awe of the things that he has done and how his creation serves those who love him. I'm constantly in awe of Yah. We should constantly and always be in awe of Yah. This is what will make us different from all other peoples of the earth. It's not knowing that we are Yasharal. Because our people knew they were Yasharal and they walked contrary to Yah. Being Yasharal means nothing if you don't have the fear and the reverence of the one who can save you and destroy you. Not even at a word, simply at his will. If it be his will, your breath be taken from you this hour. Yah is great. He is terrible. Why do we approach Yah any way we want to? Why do we still approach him any way we want to? And some of us might say, no, I don't do that. I really don't do that. Whenever I go before Yah, I put a prayer cloth over my head. Girl, I even look like a Muslim. I put on my Hebrew hijab on my head. I approach Yah. If I got some short shorts on, I put some long jeans on. I turn off the music. I turn off the TV. I know how to approach Yah. I know how to do it. But the truth of the matter is, no, you don't. Because Yah is terrible. And if you knew that he was terrible, then you would be very meticulous and specific and careful on how you approach him. Let us go to Leviticus chapter 16, verse 2. Leviticus chapter 16, verse 2. That is Waikra 16, verse 2. And YAHUAH said to Moshe, speak to Aaron, your brother, not to come in at all times to the Kodesh place inside the veil, before the lid of atonement which is on the ark, lest he die, because I appear in the cloud above the lid of atonement. What? But Aaron was a Levite. But YAHUAH said to Moshe, Speak to Aaron, your brother, not to come at all times to the Kodesh place inside the veil, before the lid of atonement which is on the ark, lest he die, because I appear in the cloud above the lid of atonement. Guys, come closer. If you're watching on the TV, make sure you put your ear on the TV. Put your ear to the speaker on your phone. Listen. We have been deceived. Christian doctrine has led many astray. We must fully understand that there still is a veil. I'm going to show you. We say that the veil has been torn, which is true. The physical veil has been torn. But they say that the veil has been torn, completely removed. So we can now come to the Father. We can come to him in any way, in any condition, in any state of mind. But the thing is, we have not realized that the physical veil has been broken, so we can walk through the veil of Hamashiach. Hamashiach is our veil. There still is a veil, and you can't come in any way you want. You can't do it, because you will blaspheme the sanctuary. You will blaspheme the most Kodesh place. You must always go through the veil. Always. There is a veil. It's just not the man-made one. Look, the same way that we no longer have to kill a lamb the way we did in the times of the Levite, because we have Hamashiach now as our lamb. YAHUAH replaced the lamb. The same way that we don't need the Kohen HaGodal to go inside of the most holy place, but before he does, has to make his own sacrifice. Yahushua replaces not only the sacrifice, but the Kohen HaGodal, so that he is constantly in the most holy place. The same way that the temple was destroyed, so that Yah could lift up a temple, which is us. All of these things still exist. They haven't been destroyed. It's the same way that our Mashiach is the veil. There is still a holy of holies. There is still a most Kodesh place. Just in case this bothers some of you to know that there is still a veil, let's go to Hebrews chapter 10, verse 19 through 20. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 19 to 20. So, brothers, having boldness to enter into the Mikdash by the blood of Yahushua, by a new and living way which he instituted for us through the veil, that is his flesh, and the Kohen HaGodal over the house of YAHUAH. The veil hasn't been removed, people. So why do we think we can go into the most holy of holies any way we want? Because you misquote scripture? Because you misquote where it says now we can boldly go before the throne of our YAHUAH? You can only boldly go if you have been approved to go. And if you are worthy of the space. Because a lot of us think that we've gone into the Holy of Holies, but we've only always been at the door of the tent. And that is why your palals and your palaim are going on deaf ears, and you have to beg and beg and beg and beg and cut yourselves and slice yourselves like the prophets of Baal had to do. The fear of Yahuwah, the reverence of Yahuwah. We need it. We need it. Look at this. Let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 6, verse 1 through 10. 2 Samuel chapter 6, verse 1 through 10. Listen. Now Daud again gathered all the chosen men of Yasharal, 30,000. And Daud rose up and went with all the people who were with him from Baali Yahudah to bring up from there the ark of Eluah, that is called by the name Yahuwah of hosts, who dwells between the cherubim. And they placed the ark of Eluah on a new wagon and brought it from the house of Abinadab, which was on the hill. And Uzzah and Ayo, sons of Abinadab, were leading the new wagon. And they brought it from the house of Abinadab, which was on the hill, with the ark of Eluah. And Ayo was walking before the ark. And Daud and all the house of Yasharal were dancing before Yahuwah with all fir wood instruments, and with lyres, and with harps, and with tambourines, and with sistrums, and with cymbals. And when they came to the threshing floor of Nachon, Uzzah reached out towards the ark of Eluah and took hold of it, for the oxen stumbled. And the wrath of Yahuwah burned against Uzzah, and Eluah smote him there for the fault. And he died there by the ark of Eluah. And Daud was displeased because Yahuwah had broken out against Uzzah. And he called the name of the place Peretz Uzzah until this day. And Daud was afraid of Yahuwah on that day, and said, how shall the ark of Yahuwah come to me? How shall the ark of the covenant come to me? And Daud would not move the ark of Yahuwah with him into the city of Yahuwah, but Daud turned it aside to the house of Obed-Edom, the Gittite. I don't know if you caught this part, but Uzzah was doing what he thought was a righteous thing. The oxen had stumbled, and the ark of the covenant was about to fall off of the wagon. And Uzzah said, oh no, let me put it back in place. Oh no, let me touch it so it doesn't fall. And Yah became angry and wroth and killed Uzzah. And it says that Daud was displeased. He was upset about it. He was sad about it. He was scared about it. He wasn't doing anything wrong, per se. His intentions were righteous. But he did not know that Yah was terrible. You cannot approach the Most High any way you want to. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. There's this kind of perception that we got, that we can go to Yah and just say, oh Yah, I'm going through a really hard time right now. I'm having a really hard time. But yesterday you was just fornicating. Yesterday your eyes was on something unclean. Yesterday you was talking about somebody behind their back. You were cutting and slicing. You were chopping up salami. Yesterday you committed murder in your heart. You didn't spend time with Yah all day long. And you have the audacity, the arrogance to come before him and lift up Palal when you did not clean anything out. You did not go through the veil. You did not go through the blood. You did not go through the door. You did do nothing. You have not obeyed. You did not fear. You were not in awe. But you say, Father, I humbly come before your throne of grace and boldness. If you don't sit down, you see, many of us have not learned the fear of Yah. And I'm not saying that we can't go to Yah in Palal, but Abba is very meticulous. He is very specific. He has standards, people. He's not a wuss how we think he is. He's not a big old teddy bear that we could give him a hug and a smooch on the cheek and sit on his lap like he's Santa Claus. He is not standing there with open arms. He is not. He is watching your every action. He is watching your every reaction. He is listening to every word. He is documenting your life. He is waiting for the fullness of his wrath to be poured on the rebellious. And he is waiting for his righteousness to be poured out on his children. He is not at the end of a road standing up with the big belly hanging over his belt saying, "Come here, my children." He is not doing that. What has changed between then and now? What has changed between the days of Usa and today? What has changed? Nothing has changed. The Most High has not changed. Look at how Isaiah went to see the Most High in the vision, and he says, woe is me, I am a man of unclean lips. Why did he not say, why did he say that? Why did he react that way? Because he knew that he stood before the one that could destroy him. Woe is me, I am a man of unclean lips. Bowing down in fear and reverence of Yah. How many times have you in your prayer closet or in your room have bowed down in reverence and fear of the Most High Yah? But a lot of people are still playing church. Kumbaya, my Lord. Still doing religious stuff, and the reverence of Yah is not there. When they look at a Yasharali today and they look at a Christian today, they see the only difference is that these people are keeping the laws and the commands, but there is no fear. And this is what Yah is going to put in us. This is why the fire is coming. This is why we're going to go through fire. This is the reason why fire is being kindled, to purge out the rebellion, to purge out the lack of reverence that we do not have in Yah. We will go through the fire so we can put some respect on his name, so that when we do make it to the wilderness, we don't get destroyed. When did he change? When did Yah change? When did he stop being Kodesh? When did he stop being mighty? When did he stop? Some of us are over here. Nobody can tell me anything because I have a wonderful relationship with the Most High. I can talk to Yah at any time. It's crazy. I say, Yah, please heal my children, and Yah does it. I say, Yah, please, my enemies are round about me. Please, they've been talking about me. Yah doesn't play about me, because if somebody plays with me, they're gonna get destroyed. Well, I can come to Yah about my needs, and he'll take care of everything. But when Abraham needed to speak with the Most High about Sodom and Gomorrah, he said, if you will allow me, please, Abba, if I have permission to just one more time just say to you, what if there's 40 people, yeah, what if there's 10, what if there's 5? Please, Abba, don't be angry with me that I speak again. Please don't be angry with me that I open my mouth to you once more to speak. What if there's just 5 in the city? And Abba said, for the sake of 5, I will not destroy them. Look how he spoke with Yah. He said, if I'm allowed to just speak one more time, if I can. And he was called a friend of Yah. Do you think that Abraham did not know about Hamashiach? Yet we use Hamashiach as a stepping stool to go up to Yah and demand things of him like he's some kind of a genie in a bottle. Because of Yahushua, I can come to you and say, Yahuwah, fix my family in the name and the authority of Yahushua, like he's some kind of a genie in the bottle, and the magic word is abracadabra Yahushua. What about the approach? What about the humility? What about the contrite heart? What about the simplicity? What about the fear? What about the reverence? In the name of Yahushua, abracadabra, we use the name of our Messiah like some kind of a wand for us to be able to approach Yah however way we want to demand whatever we want to. But the fear of Yah is not there. This is a problem. And Yah's gonna fix it. And that's why fire is coming, and that's why nobody's leaving this place until we get purged. Nobody's going nowhere until we get purged. Look, let's go to Exodus chapter 20, verse 18 to 20. Exodus chapter 20, verse 18 to 20. And all the people saw the thunders, the lightning flashes, the sound of the ram's horn, and the mountain smoking. And the people saw it, and they trembled and stood at a distance, and said to Moshe, you speak with us, and we hear, but let not Yahuwah speak with us, lest we die. And Moshe said to the people, do not fear, for Yahuwah has come to prove you, and in order that his reverence be before you, so that you do not sin. So that we do not sin. There is a necessary level of fear that we need. There is a necessary level of fear that we need so that we do not sin, so that we do not die, so that we may live, so that we may thrive, so that we may be from esteem to esteem. I can say to many that the fear of Yah, the way it's supposed to be, is not there. I don't say it as a woman. I don't say it as somebody just talking. I am saying it based off of what the Most High Yah has revealed to me. If you have a problem with it, take it up with him. I'm just the messenger. I'm telling you today that the problem with the world and the reason why we are not where we're supposed to be yet is because the fear has not entered into us yet. We've awakened to who we are. We've awakened to the name. We have not yet awakened to the fear. But that training ground is coming. And when it comes, there will be great reward, but also great danger for those who are stiff-necked and stubborn. The fear of Yah will come upon the whole earth. And those who are righteous, they will yield to the sound of the thunder and the lightning and the mountain. The voice that comes from the Shamayam, and they will bow and prostrate themselves in reverence. But others, they will be destroyed. For them, it will be game over. Make sure that you have the fear of Yah, because this is not a joke. It is not a game. Why is the fear of Yah so important? Why is it so important to know that he is great and terrible? Because Yasharal, I know that there are a lot of opposing opinions. Like I said, I can only tell you what the Most High Yah has shown to me. You don't have to agree with me. Take it up with Yah. Go on your belly. Plead with Yah. Fast and pray and yield to him. Whatever you gotta do. But I'm telling you what the Most High Yah has shown me. And I will say it so then there is no blood on my hands, lest I be held accountable. Abba, you see that I am being obedient today. A lot of people are waiting in the next few days, in the next few hours, in the next few weeks, in the next few months, maybe in a year or so, to hear the shofar. Gather the elect of the Most High. Look, there's ships all around us, and there's planes, and we're about to leave. It's not going down that way. It's not happening that way. There will be a fire, and we will go through it. But we will be delivered from it once we've been purged. If you remember the story of Exodus, the people did not remember their Alua in Egypt. What's happening to us today is not anything new. When our people went to Egypt and they spent all that time in Egypt, after a few generations, they forgot their YAHUAH. This is the reason why. This is the reason why when Moshe was called by Yah, he asked Yah and said, "Whom shall I say sent me?" He had to ask. If he had known, he wouldn't have asked. And he said, "Tell them that the YAHUAH, the father of Abraham, the YAHUAH of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob has sent you to them. I have heard their cries, and I have sent you to them." Yah brought them out. They were in the middle of Egypt during the plagues. The plagues were going on while the children of Yasharal were still in Egypt. They were still there. But nothing came upon them while they were in the land. But there were many Yasharalis that died in the land of Egypt because they were rebellious. And Jasher tells us that they were buried in the nighttime so as to not give an opportunity to the Egyptians to gloat over that. And then after a while, because some people think that the Israelites stayed in Egypt for 3 days and left, but they were there for a couple of years before they left, after the plagues started. And when they left Egypt, they went through different kinds of routes for them to know that it was Yah who was delivering them, who was leading them out. And then when they were brought into the wilderness, that is when Moshe went up to the mountain and Yah gave him the command and said to teach my people in the wilderness before they make it into the promised land. There is nothing new under the sun. What once was will be again. There is nothing new under the sun. So while many people are over here waiting for they are missing the expectation of refinement by fire. And the only way that they will be able to endure the refinement is through the fear of the Most High. Remember when we were children and we used to watch a scary movie? It would be so hard for us to go to sleep. Even though we knew that it was just a movie. We were not afraid in the day, but as soon as nighttime came, we could not go to sleep. We put blankets behind us, in front of us, over our head, big old thick blankets. It was hot. We were scared to sleep without our toes covered. We couldn't put our feet hanging off the bed just in case the boogeyman grabbed our feet from under the bed. And we needed lights everywhere because we were scared of the dark. The closet had to be closed in case the closet monster came out and tried to grab us. We did a whole bunch of stuff because we had a great fear. But when you have fear of Yah, then the fear that you have of pain and the fear you have of suffering and the fear you have of the fire will not be greater than the fear you have of Yah, because you have a fear that is righteous, that is healthy, and you know that he is able to deliver you, because the fear of Yah brings about trust and full and complete obedience. There are things you just will not do because you fear him too much. And you know he is able. there is a necessary level of fear. Where there is fear of Yah, there is trust. We trusted that if we slept with the lights off, somebody was going to come out of the closet and take us away. So if you have the fear of Yah, that fear of Yah is grounded in the love of Yah. And the love of Yah keeps you from punishment. And it keeps you from death. And it keeps you from rebellion. And it keeps you from lawlessness. The Most High Yah is great and terrible. We will have to remember this in these times coming. Because if we don't have the fear of Yah now, we're going to have a really hard time later. You're not going to be able to trust Him through the fire. You're not going to be able to have confidence in Him through the pain. You're not going to be able to say to Nebuchadnezzar and Pharaoh, "What's it to you if I do not bow down to your statue, O Nebuchadnezzar? Our Yahuwah is able to deliver us. And even if He does not, we will never bow to you." Why? Because our Yahuwah is great and terrible. We do not fear what you can do to us. We fear what our Yahuwah can do to not just our flesh, but our soul. Great and terrible is our Yahuwah. Great and terrible is our Yahuwah. Great and terrible is our Yahuwah. He is great and He is terrible. He is great and He is terrible. When you understand this, it changes the way you walk. It changes the way you talk. It changes the way you behave. It changes the way you think. It changes the way you treat others. It changes the way you treat yourself. It changes the way you talk to people, the way you correct people, the way you approach Yah. It changes the way people see you. But there is a time that is coming. And that time is here. Where the true worshipers of Yahuwah will worship Him in Ruach and in truth. And that kind of truth is the fear and the reverence of Yah. When I read the scriptures, I take it so serious. I don't know, maybe I'm just extra. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, but like, why am I like this? I'm just so extra. But I realized later that no, it's not extra. It's just really, I look at the scriptures and I say, Abba Yah, why is it that the elders before you are just repeating the same thing again and again and saying, Kodesh, Kodesh, Kodesh is our Yahuwah and greatly to be praised? I'm just like, why are they like that? Why do they bow down? Why do the cherubim cover their feet and cover their face and cover their feet? Like, why do they do that? Why do they approach you and cover themselves? Why do they do this sometimes. Like, why do we pray and we have our phones in our hands? When the Malachim in your presence cover their faces, they cover their feet. Why don't we do that? Why do I get annoyed when I see somebody praying and while they're praying, their phone's in their hands and they're just looking at messages and they're like, oh, sorry, I gotta turn off. Why is the TV on while we're praying and then we look up and something's catching our eye? Why are we doing some things at the same time? Why don't we have that consecrated place, that consecrated space, that consecrated time where we do as the elders do in the Shamayam? Why don't we do this for you? The fear of Yah. Why don't we do this? Why are we in booty shorts praying to you, lifting up halal, saying Kodesh, Kodesh? We got some short shorts on, bowing down, and your whole butt cheek is up in the air, and you're bowing before Yah, and you're just like, well, it's just me and Yah in my home. It's just me. There's no man. There's no kids. It's just me. But we're approaching a righteous Yah. We don't want to cover our heads because we're afraid of falling into religiosity again. But Yah says, cover your heads when you are in Palau. Well, I leave this up to interpretation. No. Self-interpretation is wrong. Read the word and just do it. Don't make me bring out that Shia LaBeouf meme. Do it. Just do it. Do it. Cover your head, lest you tempt the Malachim. Cover your head. Bow before him. Use your body to bow. Stop doing lip service to the Most High and just do it. Give him the respect. Give him the reverence. Because if you don't do it now while you have freedom, you are going to learn the hard way. And it's a terrible thing to learn when you don't want to learn. We sing songs, we don't lift up clean hands. Man, it's just so much that we need to do. There's just so much that we need to do. The respect of Yah, the reverence of Yah. The respect of Yah, the reverence of Yah. He is great and he is terrible. Look at what Dawood says. Look at what Dawood says. When I look at the works of your hands, how many of us, when we're lifting up our palals, we acknowledge Yah's greatness and his splendor. When you read the book of Enoch, you see where before the Malachim approached Yah to complain about what these evil watchers were doing on the earth, they spent some time praising Yah first. They spent time. Before they came to complain and said, oh Yah, look what these evil Malachims are doing. Look what these watchers that you have set over the earth to watch mankind and to be there. Look what they've done. They came and said, how excellent is your name, Abba Yah. How magnificent is your name, Yahuwah of all the Shammai. They spent time. It was a whole chapter of them praising him first. But we wake up in the morning, Abba, please let me have a good day today. Please let everything go well according to my job. Please let me be able to have what I was asking you for. Please, Father, please take away this pain from my stomach. What about the honor? What about the reverence? Do we really work out our salvation with fear and trembling? Or is this just a quote? Is it just a verse? You see, the scriptures aren't letters written on a page. They are much more than poems and beautiful songs of praise and stories and historical accounts. They are teachings on how to revere our YAHUAH. When you walk in the steps that He has ordered for you, then you will not be the same person that you've always been. So just remember that the Most High is great and terrible. He is able to destroy you, and He is able to fulfill you. He is able to destroy you, and He is able to reward you. Lift up clean hands. Lift up clean hands. When you approach His presence, prostrate yourself. Honor Him. Bow before Him. Have clean lips. Have a right heart posture. Obey His commands. Approach Him the right way physically when you are in Palal. Don't approach Him butt booty naked, man. I'm not talking about having conversations when you're in the shower and singing songs. I'm talking about when you're having consecrated time with Him. When you're bowing. Make sure your body's the right way. Make sure your clothes is the right way. Make sure your covering is the right way. Make sure when you walk outside, people don't gotta ask you nothing about what you believe. They just know you're different. Walk around salty. Season the earth. Season the land. Season your home. Season your children. Season your friends. And be afraid of the Most High. But love the Most High. Because the love that you have for Him will cause you great reverence of Him. And the great reverence you have of Him will cause you to save your life. So that is all Abba has placed on my heart to share. Thank you so much for coming and listening. I feel a lot of anguish in me. Daily anguish for our people, because I feel sometimes like we don't fully understand the place where we have to be for Yah to be pleased with us. I feel sometimes that we give too much esteem to ourselves what we've come to know, where we've come to be, that we neglect the fear of Yah. So, I hope that those who had ears to hear will hear, and you save your life, you spare your life. I esteem the Most High. I magnify His name. I just wanted to sing this little chorus, and then we can go into Palal, and you can choose ye this day whom you will serve and how you will walk. Are you going to be salty? Or are you going to be tasteless? Do something new in our lives. Something new in our lives. Something new in our lives. Oh, yeah. Do something new in our lives. Something new in our lives. Something new in our lives. Oh, yeah. Do something new in our lives. Something new in our lives. Something new in our lives. Oh, yeah. Do something new in our lives. Something new in our lives. Something new in our lives. Oh, yeah. Abba, Yah, we come before your presence, Father, and we give you thanks for everything that you've done for us, Abba, Yah. Fill us with reverence of you, Father. Fill us with the fear of you, Abba, because the fear of you saves our lives. The fear of you keeps us on the narrow path. The fear of you causes us to walk uprightly, to have self-control. The fear of you, Abba Yah, keeps us from having spasms and being reactionary. The fear of you, Abba Yah, causes us to be still. The fear of you, Abba Yah, gives us boldness all around. The fear of you causes us to know that there is nothing greater, that there is nothing mightier, that there is nothing that can stand between us and you, because our fear is of you. Father, purge us of our iniquities, purge us of our unrighteousness, purge us of all the things that are not of you, Father, and cause us to walk in the light of your word. Father, some of us, we fear too much what man can do to us. We fear a police officer more than we fear you. Whenever a police officer is walking away, we want to put towards us, we put our seatbelt on the right way, but Abba, we never put our seatbelt on with you. We drive our lives however way we want to. We drive our vehicles past every stop sign. We drive our vehicles past every direction you have told us to turn left or told us to turn right. We drive however way we want. We drive reckless. We drive into men. We drive into children. We drive into our sisters. We hit one another. We go into accidents with one another, and we don't do nothing about it because we think that there's no insurance with you, Abba. But you required it of us. You require it of us, Abba Yah. Father, some of us are just holding on to having a title, to having a position, Abba Yah, that we diminish the reverence of you, Father. Because it's all for selfish gain. We want to feel like somebody. And we forget about the one person who made us even exist. We lift up our hands however way we want, Abba. We do whatever we want to do, and we diminish you. We don't acknowledge the works of your hands. We don't praise you, Abba Yah, for the things you have done. For a bird singing every single morning, for the rooster that knows when to crow, for the owl that knows when to hoo, and the insects, Abba Yah, that know when to creep and when to crawl. We don't look up to the stars, Abba Yah, and see the works of your hands. We don't acknowledge what you have done. We always need something. We don't ask you to make us more in your will and be willing to wait to see what you want to show us about ourselves. Forgive us, Abba, for our rebellion. Forgive us, Abba, for our lawlessness. Forgive us, Abba, for our boldness to stand up at times and challenge you. Through our indifference. Have your way in us, Abba. Cause us to walk in the light of your word. Cause us to walk in the light of your word and in obedience to you. May your name be esteemed, Father. Prepare us for the days ahead, for the hours ahead, Abba Yah. Remind us that you are great and terrible, and that there is nothing that can harm us if we stand in you. Thank you for all you've done, Abba. May your name be lifted high. May your name be magnified. May your name be esteemed. May it be that surely your goodness and your mercy shall follow us all the days of our lives, and we will dwell in the house of the Most High for always and forevermore. In the name and the authority of YAHUAH HaMashiach. So be it, and be it so. Thank you all for being here. Shabbat Shalom, and be well in the Most High. Shalom.
Hold the winds from the north and the south and the east and the west, till I gather all of my elect. I heard that cry from the Shamayim. The reflections have been getting harder. They have come back to me, their father. Now my wrath is kindled up against these nations, for all they've done to my chosen people. The fire has been kindled, has been kindled. Shake off your shames and put away. Yashrael and Judah once did give me today. Yeah, my Lord, they say, yeah, my Lord. yo tellement louche, yo blessé, mais nous, c'est rien à prier chaque fois, chaque jour. Nous pas qu'à bâtir, nous manger.